Okay, part 3 of solving systems, elimination. So we've done solving by graphing, solving by substitution, now elimination. Elimination is like canceling out. I want to cancel out or get rid of one of the letters. So we're going to get our two equations, combine them together differently than we did before. We cancel out one of the variables, and then we can start to solve our system. So eliminate one of the letters, cancel one of the letters. So for example, 2x minus y is 5. And 5x plus y is 16. Okay, notice that this and this are opposite, and so they zero out. Because remember, 3 minus 3 is 0, or 3 plus negative 3 is 0. A number minus itself is 0. A number plus its opposite is 0. So we're going back to that fact. You know, it seems kind of like irrelevant when you're younger and first learning things. Who would ever do that? Who cares? I just want to add things together. That's the only thing that would make sense to us at a certain level of knowledge. But here we see, whoa, we can actually make use of that. And that's another thing that shows the importance of 0. T-OK, yo. So people who came up with the concept of 0, that's one thing that's allowing us to solve this equation. We need to thank them. People in ancient India and in Mesopotamia and some Mayans. So if we add these together, these cancel out. A number in its opposite is 0. So that'd be 0. 2 and 5 is 7. 7x, 5 and 16 is 21. We add down like in columns. 7x is 21. Divide. X is 3. And then we plug that back in to figure out what our other letter is. We got the X letter, now we get the Y letter. We got, that's what we want, and that's what we have so far. So we put 3 in here, because X is 3, we get 15. 15 plus y is 16. Subtract 15, y is 1. So that is our answer. And notice it works in the other one as well. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So this works in both equations. So we've solved the system. Okay. Number 2. Let's try this one. Again, you can stop, rewind, replay, take some notes. But if I stopped, the video would take forever and it'd be boring and stuff. So 5x plus 2y is negative 28. And negative 5x plus 3y is 8. And so we notice this and this are equal but opposite. 5x, negative 5x. So if we add them, they zero out. So this time we get rid of the x's first. It doesn't matter which we get rid of, just get rid of one of the letters. Get rid of 1, then it's going to be easier. So then we got 5y, it's negative 20, divided by 5, and we get negative 4. Then we plug this into one of our equations and get the other one. We got the y. Remember, we need an x and a y. We got the y, now we need to get the x. So I'll pick this equation, and we have 5x plus 2 times negative 4 is negative 28. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. add negative 8. Well, add 8 to both sides. We get 5x is negative 20. Divide by 5. X is negative 4. So our answer is negative 4. Negative 4. And let's check it to see if we messed up our arithmetic or if we did things okay. So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 20 and negative 8 make negative 28. And you can write it down if it helps. I'll do it for this one. Negative 5 times negative 4 for our check. Plus 3 times negative 4 is supposed to equal 8. Negative 5 to negative 4 is 20. That's negative 12. And then, not very dark. Trash can. Do over. Negative 5, negative 4. A little better. Negative 5, negative 4, plus 3, negative 4, it's supposed to equal 8. And so 20 plus negative 12 is 8. 8 equals 8. Check. So it works in both equations. That's what we want. We want to see what they have in common, where they meet. When we graph them, what's the one point they have in common? Right here. Okay. Now, sometimes we have to use our least common multiples to get this stuff. Here, it's already done for us. We can just go ahead and add. But sometimes LCM comes up. So let's review a little bit of that. And if you need more, look it up, practice, do in the search field, LCM worksheet PDF. Find some of that stuff, practice it, because this is a prerequisite skill to this. Something we should have had in junior high school a lot, elementary school and all that. LCM, least common multiple. So for example, the LCM of 2 and 5 is going to be 10, because the multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Counting by 2s. It's like kind of what it is. Multiples of 5 is like counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. So those are the multiples. And there's a bunch they have in common because it keeps going, infinitely many. We want to get the first one in the list, the smallest of all of them. And the smallest one is 10. That is the smallest of all the multiples. Smallest they have in common. So that's the idea. Or LCM 3 and 4. Then multiples of 3. Counting by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. Multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on. Okay, and then we look and see what's the smallest they have in common. What's the first one in the list? 12. That's the first one. They have it's the same. So 12 is our least common multiple. That's how we do that. Least common multiple is 12. Okay, so we're going to be using that. Let's review that concept. Again, something that's been covered a lot. Review it on your own if you need to, please. So here, we'll start with this one. 3x minus 2y, or number 3 we're on. 3x minus 2y is negative 2. 4x minus 3y is negative 4. Notice, whoops, computer went to sleep again. 1 second. So, there, okay, good. It's still recording. But we can't just add or subtract these because they're not opposite. They're not equal but opposite. Neither are these. So we need to make them so. So we can choose to get rid of whichever one we want. You can get rid of the x's first, or you can get rid of the y's first, whatever you choose. Or you can decide you want to like get rid of the x every time to make it easier if you think so, or get rid of the y every time if that works for you. But here I'll say I'll get rid of the x. So again, we need to make these equal but opposite, so we need the least common multiple of 3 and 4. So LCM 3 and 4 is 12, as we've discussed. So to make this a 12, I have to multiply by 4. So if I do that, I'll put it over here. Multiply everything by 4. It's kind of like distributing to each term in the equation. 1, 2, 3 things. We multiply by this, multiply by this, and multiply by this. So we get 12x minus 8y equals negative 8. And here we multiply by 3. So we get 12x minus 9y equals negative 12. But whoa, we forgot to make them opposite. They're both 12, but we can't just add these and make them 0. And we could also subtract, but it's easier to think about adding. So we can multiply this by negative 3, okay? And that's one thing to watch for. Negative 3, and then we just change the signs. Negative, positive, positive. So negative 12, positive 9, positive 12. Remember to make them equal but opposite. Then we can add. A number plus its opposite is 0. Negative 8 plus 9 is 1. Negative 8 plus 12 is 4. Boom, so y equals 4. So we got that right away. And then we get that and put it back into one of these, whichever one you pick, it doesn't matter. If you got more familiarity with which one it could be easier, you can do that. If you want to pick the first one every time, no matter what, to make it easier on yourself, if that works for you, do that. But I pick different ones sometimes depending. I'll pick the first one this time. So remember, we want to get an x and a y, it's our solution. So far, we got the 4. I need to know what x equals. So I get this equation, 3x minus 2 times 4 is negative 2. I put 4 in place of y. The same exact thing, but there's a 4 where the y was. Then just work it out as we've done throughout the year a lot. So notice we had to do linear equations to get up to this. Nothing else. We do not need quadratics. We do not need exponents. We do not need rational expressions. No one cares for this. We just need the linear equations we did and our LCM. And so add 8. Divide by 3. And then x equals 2. Okay. So that is our answer, 2 comma 4. And so if we do 4 times 2 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12, 8 minus 12 is negative 4. Check. 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, 6 minus 8 is negative 2. Check. And then you can write that down, which you should try to do it yourself instead of just going along with me. Process on your own. That's when you really get things down, not just by like watching someone else do it. Okay, one more like this. We'll try this one over here. 8x plus 4y is 12. Yes, it's an 8. Then again, remember there's more examples in the book you could read and study. More videos you could watch. These have been long enough as it is. I don't want to like do more and more examples and make it like 5 hours long. So, we need to decide which variable we want to get rid of and then get the LCM of those. So, we can do this one again. If we want to get rid of the y's, we get the LCM of 4 and 3. LCM 3 and 4 is 12. And we'll multiply 1 by positive, 1 by negative. So this one, to get something with the 12y, I'm going to multiply this by 3. And this one, multiply it by negative 4 to make it opposite. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Then you'll see they're going to be opposite. So 24x, 12y is 36. 24x, 12y, 36, negative 28, minus 12y is negative 40. Okay. Negative 28, negative 12, negative 40. Notice these are equal but opposite. So we can add these, make negative 4x. These are 0. These are negative 4. 36 minus 40. 24 minus 28. So and divide by negative 4. X is 1. So again, we're trying to find our ordered pair. And we know we have a 1 there so far. Now we need to get the y value. So we put 1 in for x. I picked the second equation this time. 7 times 1 plus 3y is 10. That's 7. Subtract 7. Divided by 3. 1. 1 comma 1. So there's a few examples. 4, not too many, not too few. And again, read some, try some on your own, take notes, make sure you process this. Maybe get this and try to work it out on your own. And if you need to, you can look at this, the notes you've written down, to see how to do it, then try again. But you got 4 right here that we've gone over. You could write down the original, make sure you could do it on your own, review the steps you need to help you learn it. Then, you know, do other things. It takes multiple repetitions over multiple days. Then we need to see what foundations each of us need. It's going to be different with different people in the class. Some people, they already know how to do this in class. Some people, they haven't done it before, they're going to get it. Some people might struggle with it a little bit more. Just like in anything else, any other thing we do in other classes. Go to another class, you can be better at something than some other people, and they need more stuff. But look at your background. Like we said, to get some of this done, remember, we need to know how to get our LCM. And we need to know how to make things equal but opposite. And then we just solve linear equations. And then with the computer, don't go to sleep. There, it almost went dark. With the elimination stuff, substitution that we did before. You got other things to practice, but there are some examples for you and what you need to do it. So, peace.